Hi, I'm Derek Sutherland from Shadowsoft, and I'm here to talk to you today about what is Kubernetes, why care, what does it actually provide you, and ultimately at the end of the day, why you should start using it and why you're probably going to have to use it in some capacity. So first of all, what is Kubernetes? Everyone that's out there has probably heard Kubernetes is a container orchestration platform. There's been ones that have come before it, but what does that actually mean, and how should you be thinking about Kubernetes? Well, first of all, Kubernetes is a container orchestration platform, like I just said, but ultimately what it really boils down to is a software-defined data center that can do a lot of different things as it relates to microservices and the shared workloads that are required to run them. So why do I say that, and how is it architected? First of all, we start with a cluster that is consisted of 3, at a minimum, control plane nodes. Then on top of that, we have what we call 3 or more infrastructure or shared service nodes. These are traditionally optional but should be used in production, and I'll explain why. And then you have at least 3, but traditionally multiple worker nodes. So what are these different types of nodes? A control plane node is, think of it like the brain of the operation. There's a scheduler built into it that's designed to see a container's lifecycle through to through. So if it ends up on a worker node and that container dies at some point, it will recreate it automatically in another worker node where it is available. In that same mentality, it also has an API for managing this whole environment and a system called etcd, which is responsible for containing configuration data about all the different workloads that run in this environment, including the workloads that are running on the control plane nodes. Now, the second tiers are infrastructure shared nodes, which again I've said are optional. The point of this here is to do exactly what it sounds like. Host infrastructure shared services. This is things like storage subsystems in the event that you're leveraging something like Ceph, Rook, or any other shared storage system that should be in here. Shared networking components like an ingress system such as a OpenShift router or Nginx proxy, anything like that. In addition to that, any other shared service systems that you might think of, whether that be used for service mesh or the like. Then your worker nodes are where your actual workloads are going to run. This is things like WordPress, Drupal, a Node.js process, or even a large microservice type system that has been built to run inside of Kubernetes. Now, with that being said, why care? There's a lot of different reasons. Kubernetes is being highlighted as a system that's going to be able to provide you with the ability to scale faster. It's going to give you more server density. It's going to make you be able to scale easier. It's going to increase your velocity for deployment. There's a lot of different reasons. But probably the biggest reason that goes unnoticed is the open unified API this provides you to run any service in any environment, whether that be on-premise, in a cloud, or across multiple clouds. Wherever Kubernetes exists, you have the exact same API everywhere, meaning that you can deploy workloads to any of those environments without having to rewrite your deployment code. This provides a lot of benefit when it comes to environment agnosticism and making sure you can scale effectively in the future. So that kind of leads into what does it get me, which is, again, the ability to openly scale across multiple environments, but it also gives you relevance and it allows you to build out a truly microservice architecture. But notice I said allows you to build a microservice architecture. Just because you take an existing application, let's just say Drupal or WordPress, and throw it into a Kubernetes cluster, does not mean it's going to magically scale faster overnight. Does not mean it's automatically going to become a microservice-based system. There's a lot of rework that needs to be done with any application that's going to be deployed into this style of an environment in order for it to scale effectively. The potential is great, but the work that comes into moving into this entire environment can also be substantial when you start to think about the different pieces that are going to have to go into this type of environment and what kind of changes are going to be necessary. So if it's that hard, why should I do it? Well, in most organizations, there's a lot of top-down pressure. In some instances, it's just because people want to do the latest and greatest thing. But ultimately, what this is going to do for you is it's going to enable your organization to develop applications better than they are today, give them a way to easily scale across hybrid infrastructure, and ultimately allow them to have a more safe platform to scale applications for the long term in a way that will sustain workloads as they come into your environment in the long run. I'm Derek Sutherland from Shadowsoft, and this is Kubernetes.